Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, legends, how's everybody doing? Let's analyze the situation here for la price de Bitcoin. Let's go. We are just continuing to pump, guys. We're just continuing the momentum. We just hit 116k in the last few hours. Early this morning, we did manage to hit that lower high from the range. We'll be discussing the different scenarios today, legends. Make sure to destroy that like button on your way in, guys, if you do enjoy the content and you do like the analysis and the education. We'll be going right away through the different scenarios. Hang on a minute. There we go. There we go. We are here. Legends, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. Hopefully, no one shorted in the last couple of days. Hopefully, right? And if you did, you know, maybe you got into a good level, take it as a quick scalp. Well, this is no zone to really, really speculate for a turnover. The local structure is very much bullish. It's since we created that stream on Friday, was no longer interested in shorts, and longs were looking more attractive, and this area was not interesting to look for any short positions, guys. I'm not sure if you guys were paying attention last Friday on stream, but there was hardly any resistance in this zone. Yes, we did have we basically kind of getting a reaction here, because this is the first level where we do have a little bit of resistance. We got a daily level. We got a naked point of control in this zone, right? You got a high volume node. You got a daily level. You're kind of dancing around in this area. We kind of created a small little swing failure pattern from this high, as we were just about creating this swing failure pattern from this high right over here. There was a lot of longs entering on Bybit. On Bybit, we had, lots of longs entering right there. Just under 116k, 20 million long positions on Bybit. So, there was a lot of long positions entering into the resistance, which you kind of don't want to see too many longs entering at a possible break of a, lower high zone. And we did get a pullback of just over $1,000. I mean, if you're scalping, I would say it's okay to get into this SFP, but just take it as a scalp. The momentum is still very much bullish. There's no signs of weakness. There's no big breakdown. There's no 5-wave structure to the downside and a corrective bounce up. That's the moment where we can identify the weakness. All right. Once we get a solid move down, trying to catch up the high here for a short position becomes dangerous. And we had many bullish scenarios mentioned on Friday. I've been a little bit ill, guys, throughout the weekend. I'm not sure if you can notice on my voice. Some viruses going around here. And, I catched it. So not feeling 100%. Now, let's go through, what we mentioned on, throughout the last few days. We'll talk about what is next here. What am I expecting next? I literally am expecting the momentum to continue. What can we say? The momentum since last Friday, I do expect the momentum to actually continue. This area becomes dangerous for shorts. If you're looking for a larger move, you're just literally going to get trapped, guys, if you're shorting in this zone. And we do not want people to get trapped, at least the ones that are watching here. And rather ride the momentum to the upside till you visit the next high and the next high and then the next high, right? So not much here that we can say. We got a CME gap. We know that, okay? We do have a pretty large CME gap. I haven't even got it on the chart, but there is a pretty significant gap, something that we understand. A lot of people were skeptical yesterday, Sunday, on the pump. Sunday pump, not to be trusted. Not to be trusted. Now, of course, a lot of people have that mentality of, Sunday pump, not to be trusted. And the price keeps on pumping at least a few $1,000s, and we have the possibility of pumping another few $1,000s to the upside. So we haven't got much resistance, and the local structure is bullish still. We're going to be identifying a little bit where we're currently at. We can arguably discuss that this wave that we had to the up, from all-time high to the downside here, to this low at 103.6k has finished. This is an independent wave. It's independent. The wave to the downside, in a 5-wave impulse, we can already label it right now as a finished move, right? Even the last few days, we were very much, this was extending a little bit too much. Bullish market structure. We're already skeptical about forming another 4 in a 5. And, flipping a little bit bullish, also by gut feeling. Whoever's been paying attention to the previous live streams between Thursday and Friday, there was that gut feeling that this is, I've seen this before. I've seen this movie before, right? And you got a 5-wave move down. You've seen this kind of movie before, and I had that bullish gut feeling just because we had local bullish market structure here, okay? And look, I do get it. We were talking about, the bearish scenario. We need to talk about we're going to talk about a bearish scenario today. And, the bullish one, which is kind of the one that's favoring at the moment. And we talk about bearish case scenarios. We talked about on the channel the potential of multiple 4-5s here just because we have a couple of 1-2s potentially in this zone. But as the price develops, we understand where the levels of opportunity are, right? In this case, at 108k, 107k, we had a naked point of control, good solid level. You do have that big move down and the price really chopping in this area, sweeping up these lows. So you really, can identify that this zone is likely going to get some kind of a relief rally, right? This area was such a big support zone with this weekly naked point of control. As that relief rally was evolving, we did have a big level here, right? Which did get, we did get resistance. We did get a pullback from that point of control and the 50% Fibonacci, which was, one of the levels to get rejected in this area. However, if you move up in a 3-wave structure to the upside, like we did have here, you want to see this rejection really getting a bounce and leaving later on, right? Throughout the next 24 hours. Get a bounce and then roll over. That was not the case. The price came back up to that resistance area and was dancing around. Now there's a problem here for the bearish case. You're already forming, a bit of a 5-wave move here. You're already getting more waves than a 3-wave corrective structure. And the market structure is bullish. So, on Friday, I've got a little bit of hate on the previous live stream because, we can go through that. We need to talk about it, guys. I got someone saying, this guy talks about 5 different scenarios. And then on the next live stream, he talks about how potentially he predicted that move. And it's not about that. It's actually talking about the different scenarios and where are the trading opportunities lying, right? Because on the Friday stream, we talked about the only trading setup if this is going to be multiple 1-2s. Preferably, we dip down below the previous day value area high and daily open, and then that gives you a possible reclaim of the level and long entry, right? Well, we need to get back above it. This was explained on stream anyway. It seems like, these people just go fast and forward on the stream or something and then obviously take a look at so many scenarios and then believe that I just talk about it, which is not, it is the case. I do talk about many scenarios, but we also talk about how you need to execute the trade if either the bullish or the bearish case scenario is going to play out. So yeah, it's very important to pay attention here, guys, because I got a little bit of bad comments, which is not usual for me. So this is why, I'm pointing it out. Anyway, let's go through the comment section. We're going to go through the different scenarios. Voice is not too great today and not feeling 100%, but we'll push a good solid, at least an hour, maybe 2 hour live stream here, going through comment section, going through the different scenarios and identifying where we currently at. What would be a sign of weakness? What would be a continuation of sign of strength, which is, you know, we are seeing, you know, the structure still being very, very bullish for the moment. Do we consider any local double tops here? That's something that we can talk about, of course, on the stream as well. Let's go quickly say hello to the beautiful community, and we'll dive in through the price of Bitcoin, okay? Because the overall structure is still looking bullish. Staffer One, my man, much love to you. Slap up the like button gently, guys. Let's do a like button recount before we go through the Bitcoin technical analysis. We do have 73 likes. We can easily get to 100 in the next coming minutes. Give it that push. Much love. Path Maria, much love to you. Let's go. Nico, Sophie, how are you doing? Staffer One, Axel, hello. CME Gap, go higher. Hi Legend says, Bolakun, how are you doing, my man? Andy, how are you? I'm so. I catched a virus on Friday. Saturday, I haven't been 100%. And just kind of getting out of it. So thank you for asking. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Aurel, how are you doing? Much love. Masacro, hola, vamos para el gap. Hicimos 116.6k, says Masacro. Yeah, to fill that CME gap, right? We can talk about the gap today. We can talk about the gap. However, gap doesn't need to be filled instantly, right? It doesn't need to be filled the next day on Monday. We've seen gaps filled the next week after creating it, right? So get well soon, Staffer One, much love. Send it, says Crypto by Mattia. Hope you feel better, my man. Much love to you, my man. Tennis when you're well. Absolutely. Yeah, we need to do another tennis match soon, my man. Smash the like, guys. Okay, let's go. Is it a trap? What's a trap? The pump? Fuck 'em, they can't hear you, prisoners. What the hell is that? Hello from Kosovo, much love. Bleronza. Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Saludos. Rey Salomón, much love to you. Love the stream, thank you. Much love to everybody, okay? Get well soon, maybe. I'm still recovering from influenza A infection. Wow, okay, my man. Get well soon as well. Seems like this is the time after the summer, entering into autumn, right? Or fall, some say. And yeah, people start getting a little bit ill. So make sure to take your vitamins, do a little bit of exercise, right? And still, you know, feel alive and healthy, right? But it's inevitable at some point that we do get some kind of a cold, flu, or virus. And yeah, I got a pretty punchy virus on Friday, which is, but it's all okay, guys. We're still alive. We're still alive. We're still here. Bitcoin's still moving. So we're gonna have to take a look at the different scenarios. I want to talk about the 4-year cycle theory. This has to be talked about, okay? I got something ready here, a few boxes, green, yellow, red, 4-year cycle theory, the halving, right? The timing. This is like a religion for many. It is like a religion, guys. So we need to talk about this religion, right? Even though you might see people, it's broken, we're going to extend, we already topped out, so this is a bunch of nonsense, right? But let's talk about what's happened in the previous cycles, which is very interesting to take into consideration, right? I am still bullish anyway, regardless. Taking a look at Elliott Wave theory, we're going to take a look at the daily time frame. Okay, look at the momentum to the upside. 4-hourly time frame, the 1-hourly time frame, and even zooming in to the 15-minute time frame to, you know, try and spot where we're currently at. What is the biggest resistance? What are the risks of a rollover, right? What levels do we need to get below to even consider that we're going lower, which for the moment we do not have, right? We'll zoom in later on the stream, so make sure to stay tuned. That will be in about 30 to 40 minutes, okay? We want to leave the best for the end, okay? The 15-minute analysis, try and spot those internal, or shall we just cover it now, guys? Shall we just cover it now? Let me know in the comment section. Nobody wants to know about the 4-year cycle theory, the daily time frame. Come on, the action is in the 15-minute, the 5-minute. What's going to happen today, right? Right now in the next coming hours. Where can I rejoin another trade setup, right? This is what we did throughout the end of the stream on Friday, right? We're looking at this scenario. We're dropping down. We want to hold this daily open and previous day value area high at the 110k zone. We dipped below it, we got above it, we flew even throughout the weekend, which is well known for low volatility. That was the last higher low that I managed to spot, guys. Right? Of course, you could have longed anywhere, right? When you think about it twice, you think about, man, why just long wherever you want? Damn, a few days you could have longed wherever. No risk management, no nothing, long. That's it. Wherever, you could have longed anywhere here. You'll be in the profit. Sounds kind of simple right now when you see it, right? Preferably you create a plan. Always the plans don't always come to fruition. We created a plan on Friday, and the Friday plan was to dip down beneath the previous day value area high and get back above it to give you your stop loss entry, follow the momentum to at least take out the local highs. With that theory of you could have longed wherever here. Okay, well, I'm going to long here. We might just create a higher low and continue the momentum. And I have to say, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is very much a scenario. So it's, we're going to talk about internal levels where, it is good support, taking into consideration a little bit of Elliott wave theory, but most important, the confluence area, which is kind of pretty simple, if you ask me, right? Because if this is going to be a multiple 1-2 setup, right, where your third wave is leaving here, now I'm not considering multiple 1-2s. That's a problem. So the shallow pullbacks here become an issue, guys. They become an issue, even though you do get shallow pullbacks and you continue this 4-5, right, scenario, considering that this is a 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5. Well, it becomes dangerous now to get into shallow pullbacks. Getting into shallow pullbacks in 1-2s is okay, right? Speculating on that scenario that we are going to go in a wave 3, which we did kind of, right? Wave 3, there is a bearish case scenario. This might not be a wave 3, okay? If we do start dropping down and losing some levels, we can consider the end of either a WXY or an ABC as well. We will talk about that later on. But my point here is that the possibility of forming wave 4, wave 5, wave 4, wave 5 is very much on the cards. Okay? It's on the cards here. From this low, okay, because I am considering all of this, different waves. It's either a 1-2 and a 1-2 with a flat, or it's an expanding diagonal also with, this being the correction, which was too fast and too impulsive. I am considering from the low created on Thursday, a new wave, right? Market moves in waves, up, down, up, right? This is a new wave that hasn't finished yet. When will it finish? How can it be developed? What other levels are there so I can take part safely with good risk management, right? Instead of just randomly saying I'm shorting, it's going to roll over, or I'm longing right now because the pump is going to continue, right? With no proper plan, no proper levels, good risk management, and obviously that's you're destined to fail, right? Like that if you trade that way, right? Some trades are going to go good, they're going to go in the green. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, trading without a plan, is planning to fail, right? So, shall we just dive into the 1 hour, 15 minute time frame and screw the higher time frame? Because I have that feeling, guys, that it's kind of boring. Higher time frame is kind of boring. Nothing has really changed. I think I want to go through the 4-year cycle theory scenario where, if the bull market top were to be in, which I do not think so, we peaked in October. We'll talk about that. We need to talk about it because I got some interesting facts here about the 4-year cycle theory, which is kind of a religion for many, right? And now a lot of people, as we are running out of time of Q4, we're coming into November in a few days, like 2 months left, right? you know, and the people that are extremely bullish are just going to believe that the cycle is going to extend, because we need to go to 200K, right? This whole thing about $200,000 Bitcoin is really disturbing for me, right? Because you get big influential, you know, investors, Tom Lee, right? We can say many names, it doesn't really matter. And you know, they're just coming up with these, you know, crazy price targets, which is unrealistic for the moment, right? We understand it's, for the moment, is unrealistic. When we take a look at the momentum on Bitcoin, it is kind of getting exhausted already at, you know, since we broke 110K, 108K, it's getting exhausted. The breakouts are getting, you know, when you break out a major high, preferably you create a big consolidation. That gives power for the breakout. That gives power for the breakout. Look at this breakout. This consolidation that we had in March of 2024 all the way till September of 2024. Holy smokes. You know, this was a 6-month correction, consolidation, and obviously after such a long period of time, the breakout is going to be massive, right? The breakout is massive. And, you know, eventually that's the, you know, the biggest moment of the cycle is here, right? You got the first momentum that is building up the bull market, the big breakout, and now you're just kind of topping out in this zone. So you want to be extremely cautious about these major, I have to say, ridiculous targets, right? Going to 100 and, you know, 200K. You know, does it make sense to get this kind of move in a matter of 2-3 months, guys? I mean, yeah, even the drawing here is extending to April of 2026. It doesn't make sense, guys. It does not make sense that we go with God candles and hopium like this, because if we look at the 4-year cycle theory, right, there's not really that much time, and whoever wants to believe that the cycle is extending into 2026, well, okay, well, that's, you know, that's your opinion. But if we are believing that we're going to go to 200K in the next coming months, I mean, it's a little bit of delusional, right? You need to be a little bit delusional. Of course, Bitcoin will hit $200,000 in the future. There's no doubt about it. But in this cycle, you know, we need to maintain our feet in the ground, not in the moon or Mars, right? Stay grounded. So this is why, you know, I've sold 25% of my Bitcoin holding. You know, I don't want to be the last guy selling. So I'm scaling out here slowly on my spot bags. For the moment, no plan in selling anymore. All right, till we get more information, which we can discuss on the higher time frame. But I think, guys, shall we talk about the internal levels of opportunities? Right, I think that people want to know that lower time frame. No, wait until tomorrow. Pump it up, sir. Pac-Man, my man, much love. Giving love and power here. We got Pac-Man here giving love and power, smashing up the like button like an absolute legend as well. I know Pac-Man always smashes the like button. He's a legend. Let's go through comment section quickly. Andy, it's looking sexy today, says Jerome. Absolutely. It does. Bitcoin is tired. Time for alts to move before it crashes. Yeah, let's hope for that as well, right? Diamond reversal pattern. We halfway there. Yeah, I think somebody mentioned this about the diamond reversal pattern. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Of course, we are going to expect some pullbacks at some region, but I'm not buying this diamond pattern. We're halfway through. I'm not buying it. Not buying it, guys. If we do form a lower, higher, higher, low, lower, higher, higher, low, and if we, you know, do extend like this, then it will be looking pretty ugly. So this is going to take several weeks, though, to develop. If it is going to be a diamond pattern, we don't trade diamond patterns, but it's just interesting to consider. So yeah, we're not taking that into consideration as of yet, right? Resistance soon. Carl the Moon mentioned diamond pattern. However, I think it's a megaphone pattern, which is bullish. Interesting. Win more than you lose. Hope you are doing good, says James. Okay, let's go through the scenarios, guys. I think we're going to go through lower time frame because I think mainly people are interested in local trading setups. Andy, do you see NDQ pump? No, I did not see that. Anyway, we're going to go through lower time frame. A little bit of what I am seeing here. Let's go with the moon mission most bullish case scenario, where you have a 5-wave impulsive move structure to the downside since all-time high, which eventually is a motive wave, right? It's an impulsive move down, which you expect a possible corrective structure to the upside of some kind to then roll over, and that's it, guys. Game over. We go to much lower prices, below 100K in the next coming months. However, we do have this scenario, right? You guys know what I'm going to talk about here. We do have the flat structure, okay, from this all-time high in August. 3-wave down, 3-wave up, 5-wave down. That's what you want to see in a C wave, okay, of a flat, big aggressive move down to sweep up the lows, preferably, which it did. And now we are having this bullish momentum. What bullish scenarios do we have when we consider all of this being a correction in an ABC flat after a 5-wave move to the upside in that contracting diagonal? Well, you know, we need to discuss that right away. This is why we are zooming in on the 1-hourly time frame, right? If this is the end of a correction in that C wave of a flat, this is a new complete structure. So we need to understand the bullish momentum here and see how high are we going. Where do we see good support for a long setup? Because, guys, as long as we're uptrending, if we get a pullback, and it doesn't need to be too far, I'm going to talk about a long setup. I'm going to talk about a long setup like we did on Friday here. Because, yeah, I mean, you might be scared about, you know, the price forming a higher low here. But thinking it twice, throughout the last few days, we could have longed here, we could have longed here, we could have longed here. Could we get a possibility retracement to long again to then take out the highs again? Absolutely. So we need to talk about it, right? Ride the momentum, ride the trend till the end. Where is the end? It has the potential to be the end here. We just topped up, you know, we just basically creating a small swing failure pattern from the highs here at 116K. I'll discuss the range highs. So the price could reverse from this point quite aggressively, right? This is an aggressive entry, I have to say, you know, to get into a short. I would take it as a scalp. The good thing about these swing failure patterns, you can get in and you have such a tiny stop loss, which is incredible. Like this swing failure pattern from the point of control, right? You had a big high volume node here at 107K zone, right? Which was a weekly naked point of control. You can long that as a swing failure pattern and your stop loss is beneath the wick, give or take a few $100s. And yeah, you literally got such an epic entry. Your stop loss is looking so small here, right? Got a very, very small stop loss. You have another attempt right there if you did not enter this one. And, you know, you can really just ride this momentum to the upside. So the good thing about shorting a swing failure pattern, regardless if it's from a naked point of control reaction in this case, right, that happened last Wednesday, or a major pivot lower high, which is eventually a liquidity grab, you can risk a few peanuts here. You can get into a trade which is extremely small if you want to get into the tempt, okay? And man, your stop loss is so small. If this ends up being bearish and it rolls over, man, your stop loss is like super, super small. You know, you don't need to risk, you know, the farm here. You can risk a few bucks just to take the shot, right? Because it always gives you a good option to enter kind of a sniper trade, right? With a very small stop loss, right? You don't need to risk, you know, 5% of your account. You can risk 0.5. And if you get that weakness and a corrective structure, you can add always to that position in a safe way. It's kind of what I'm doing on a long position on Ethereum, which was a long provided a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago now, on Ethereum, and it's a swing trade. My target for Ethereum potentially in the next coming weeks is going to come to, you know, all-time high, right? See if this does want to load here, because Tradingview is not playing ball with me here. But that's kind of the plan of some swing longs that I have on Ethereum. Wait for a little bit of more bullish momentum, market structure here to the upside, and we will see some kind of a retracement. I don't think Ethereum's going to pump here to all-time high in a matter of a few days, right? However, I would like to see it get above 4,300, gain a bit of more momentum, so we can identify something bullish from this low of the potential triangle, right? This is a possibility of a triangle in a WXY. I want to see this where I can count a clear impulse, and I want to see the price correcting and overlapping. That is the moment that I am going to add heavily to my long positions to maximize throughout the next coming weeks in November. Am I doing that now for the moment? No, not yet. Not yet. I want to see a bit more bullish momentum and a correction, right? Because I think that November is going to be a 6-digit profit month for me. I'm just, you know, chilling. It's a swing long. Are we adding to the position? There's nothing new about it. And that gives you the, you know, looking at elite wave theory, it does give you that edge of realizing when you need to add. Just a very, very chilled way of trading, which is very successful at the end of the day, right? It just takes time to develop. It takes time to see that proof of strength. So, yeah, whoever attempted this short trade swing failure pattern from these highs, I have to say, you don't need to risk too much. It is risky. You are still uptrending, right? You could just form a corrective move here, which we are going to analyze right away, and take out the highs, which I do think is very much the scenario that we're looking at here. So let's just zoom in from the low created on the 17th of October and analyze this momentum, because what we can have here are a few scenarios. The most bullish one is multiple 1-2s, which has been developed, right? Where you have your 1-2, you have another 1 and 2. Your second wave is a flat, a little bit long. We never like these kind of second 1-2s, but you need to consider it eventually as the local market structure is bullish. As the price action is moving up here, multiple 1-2s, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. This Sunday breakout was the moment that the price left, you know, did leave, right, the station of the multiple 1-2 scenarios, right? Once you have this structure that is not continuing to grind up, right? Because if it does continue with 1-2s, well then, okay, well you have 6, 7 or 8 1-2s. There will be a moment that after that bullish market structure that we consider multiple 1-2s is going to leave the station. It's going to leave, which it has done throughout Sunday. It's going to leave. Once it leaves the area of 1-2s, you already need to consider that you're in the wave 3, and what you're looking to develop is the same amount of 4-5s in some kind of a structure. They can be much longer, they can be much shorter. You don't know really, but this is where we're going to get to right now. What is the level to bounce if we are forming maybe our first wave 4 here? Maybe we form our first wave 4. Maybe. You do not want the price to come down and start overlapping 111k, because then, you know, this could be an end right there. This could be a 3-wave structure. If you are going to continue the bullish momentum, you want to see a few more 4-5s. So where is that first 4th wave going to bounce if it does? Which is the best level to consider when we are analyzing here this multiple 1-2 setup. The first zone of interest, I have to say, I am going to count personally from this low, this 1-2, because this next wave, it's where it leaves the zone of the highs, right? This wave to the upside is where it leaves this area that we have of potential 1-2s. This wave on Sunday. You take the last higher low right over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would consider that this possibly is already a third wave up. Okay? I would consider already that this is already a third wave up. Is it or not? Well, like everybody, I don't know. I don't know. But it has the potential from this higher low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to create that third wave. Of course, a fourth wave, where does it usually bounce? Where does it usually bottom out? If we are, because we are probably going to get a little bit of a move down, maybe of $1,000-$2,000 in the next coming hours. It is crucial to hold certain levels that I'm going to talk about right now, because if we drop down, right, you're literally already coming to this area, which is not going to be looking too great. Not going to be looking that sexy anymore, even though, yeah, you might think, oh, there's still a higher low. Considering Elliott wave theory on the lower time frame, if we do cross below 111k, it's not going to be looking that interesting anymore, depending on how we get down there. But literally, what I want to explain here is this over here, possibly your wave 3. Maybe it's not even finished and we're going to move from here. But if I consider a long in this area, not that much risk to reward. Where are you going to put your stop loss? If I enter along here, I mean, maybe you're looking at VWAP or something like that, right? If you're scalping, maybe you're bouncing out the VWAP and you put stop loss beneath the VWAP. Well, I mean, that's okay, depending on your trading style. But I don't want to put a stop loss anywhere here. I'm realizing that all of these higher lows can be claimed. All of this higher low zone, especially now after we left this area, it's like, yeah, I don't think so. If the price wants to move up from here, then okay. But I'm not entering along here because I have a stop loss situation. I don't want to put stop loss here because I'm targeting the highs first of all. So it's just not a good setup, right? So we need to put that in the bin because it's not useful for us. And that's when we, damn, my voice. I'm not feeling that great, guys. Bear with me here, guys. Okay, we good. Right, so where's the biggest level to the downside? Let's just keep it, simple and easy for the viewer, because some people watching this are saying this guy with so many waves and scenarios I'm getting a headache. We do have a naked point of control, guys, from yesterday's consolidation before we got the breakout. This is a pretty nice consolidation on Sunday, which has left us a pretty nice high volume node. Which is, around about 113.5k. We've got the levels here. This area is, pretty solid. If, I know it seems pretty far away. It's almost $2,000 of a pullback. I think a lot of people would be a little bit skeptical if the price does come down here in the next coming hours. But it is a bouncing zone. It is a reaction zone. Bounce might be there like this, and then it rolls over. It is a reaction zone. So this reaction zone, when we consider Elliott wave theory, where we have possibly multiple 1-2s stacked up here, and then we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If we are developing a wave 4 and then 5 later on, right, 4 and 5 later on, we actually go to, much higher prices. Structure is bullish. This right over here is the best area to start considering a new long position. I mean, maybe some people are long, swing longs. I'm talking about a day trade setup, right? Where the price could bounce. Just a new opportunity. People want new opportunities. That's what we do as traders. We look for new opportunities all the time. So taking Fibonacci from this pivot low, which this has the potential of being a wave 3. Maybe we create one more high and then we get the pullback. I don't know. But if this is the high and the price is already getting a pullback from here, now it's looking pretty solid, for the price to be for this to be a solid pullback after this rally that we've had, right? If we are considering this a wave 3, and if this is multiple 1-2s, the price has to continue with 4 5s, 4 5s to the upside till we get to 117, 118, it doesn't matter. At least take out the recent highs. When we take a look at Fibonacci from this higher low, for this to be the wave 3, 382 to 50% is exactly, if you want, you can talk, you can say that this is an order block on the higher time frame, is exactly, all right, the naked point of control in the middle of that 382 and 50% Fibonacci. This is an area where the price could literally hold and bounce. Okay, will it be a tap the naked point of control and start going later on? Will it be moving down, breaking it, get a swing failure pattern from this higher low, and then it moves higher later on? Well, it's the most important two levels is the weekly naked point of control and the 50%, which is with that higher low. This is like the area that needs to hold for the very bullish case scenario, right? Which is 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 and 5, right? You just continue to this massive bullish structure that we formed. Longing anywhere up here is dangerous. There is a bearish case scenario eventually, which is finishing a 3-wave move to the upside here. And longing all the way up here is dangerous, right? Unless you manage risk, maybe you're looking at the VWAP, or maybe, I don't know. VWAP has been lost, by the way, so VWAP is not doing much of a job here because we are trading below the VWAP. We are trading beneath the daily level and the naked point of control at the moment from this range over here. It's just not a good level to long, right? It's just not a good level to consider a long trade right now where we at, right? Prove me otherwise. So for the moment, we got our first leg down. We got our first rejection, little bounce, which is not doing much right now. So, if we do get that next leg down, I mean, this is the area that it needs to bounce. I would rather prefer the naked point of control, at least hit the 382 Fibonacci from this higher low. And I hope this explanation does help, guys. Why are you talking about this higher low and not this one or not this one? Well, it's literally because this movement up consolidated here beneath this lower high, and this was the breakout zone. This is where it leaves the station. You are no longer participating here in multiple 1-2s. This has to be already part of a third wave, right? And of course, when you consider that, I mean, I would argue discuss that you can technically, because of the amount of waves that we have here, get this higher low right there. this one right there, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here. You can consider this the third wave. So maybe the pullback is not going to be that aggressive, which we need to get another plan here, because, you know, this is actually a pretty deep pullback, 213K. And price might just do this and then do this, right? And then, you know, people are like, I was waiting for that naked point of control you mentioned on stream, right? To actually execute that long position. But looking at the price action here twice, we can really consider that because this movement has the highest volume, which is in the middle, it does actually make sense for the price to form a 5-wave structure from here. Biggest amount of volume from Sunday, and then consolidation and one more high. So you got a pretty solid 5-wave move here. So yeah, I would arguably discuss getting Fibonacci from that level. We'll take a look at session volume profile in a minute, because we might even not go as low. We might form a shallow pullback here, and we need to consider that. So the most important fib zone is, first of all, the 382. 382, I mean 236 I would consider very shallow and aggressive for a wave 4. Okay, I always prefer at least the 382, maybe the 50% to consider long in a wave 4, guys. And this is a day trade, all the way back up to the highs. It is true that wave 4s can retrace to the 0236 Fibonacci, which is the case. We already hit it. So there is a chance of price just taking out the highs again in the next coming hours. And that was the pullback done. For me, in my style, for me, this is a shallow pullback. You know, there's no way in a million years that I would long a wave 4 at the 0236 Fibonacci with this price action. I mean, maybe if we would have got a 3-wave structure and then this, you know, and then this, I might consider a long here to take out the highs, you know, break a trend locally. But with this straight move down, even if price does form a higher low here, I mean, this is no way I can long here this safely. You know, I'm not putting stop loss here. It's just not going to happen. So this is what we're considering here at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Biggest amount of volume in the middle. That's what you want to see. If you are going to be forming multiple 4-5s here, where you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, right? You still continue the bullish market structure throughout the next coming days, which is very, very possible, guys, right? I know it's kind of really, really speculative to just say that's it, we are rolling over, because we test the highs of the range basically. That's it, you know, the rally's over. We've tested the lower highs from here, liquidity grab, it's time to roll over. You know, I do get it. I'm saying that this is a very sniper trade situation here to get into a short on local bullish market structure. You know, a higher time frame, lower high is always acceptable if you know how to manage and enter the trade to take the shot. You know, I didn't take it. If anybody wants to know, I didn't take this short. So bullish market structure. Let's keep it simple. What I do like a lot of the times, okay, which is very, very common, when you have, okay, a possibility of a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, your third wave usually is the one with the highest amount of volume. This is why we're considering this movement a third wave here, right? Because it has the highest amount of volume. So I need to, you know, consider this a 5-wave structure. What is very, very common in a correction is to get below the 4th wave to maybe bounce and continue the trend. We talk about this strategy many, many times. Big, high volume move up, correction, continue the bullish market structure, get a correction to sweep the first higher low, all right? of the correction after the big high volume candle. This area is literally a strategy. Usually gets a significant bounce. I can show you many examples, guys. We can zoom out later on and show you many examples of this scenario of a high volume candle. The retracement becomes a solid level for an SFP, because you usually create that, inefficiency, right? When you create such a large candle, I mean, well, these highs are not too far away from filling the gap here. There's literally not much inefficiency. It's just a resistance support flip. But usually you have a large candle here with inefficiency, which if you lose, you're likely going to collapse, right? When you have that big, fair value gap, if you wish. These areas are usually very good to hold. The higher low right there. So I am really definitely considering the possibility of an ABC movement here. Your first reaction, I mean, we talked about this one, naked point of control from Sunday. The first reaction level here to re-enter a possible long, for me, it's only this one, right? If you've been speculating on shorts throughout the last few days, guys, I'm not sure how you handled the situation, but it probably wasn't good. I talked about, the last few days on Friday and yesterday, that this is not a good area to look for shorts for a rollover of a few $1,000s. It really seriously isn't. And, well, we've been proven that it wasn't, right? As with the momentum just continued to the upside. So you want to kind of rejoin the uptrend, right? What's this whole thing about trying to detect the top and rolling over? There's nothing proving us that at the moment that we're going to roll over, guys. There's nothing really proving us that this is the top and we're going to roll over locally. Could it be? Yes, but it's very difficult, at least, by my experience. Of course, you had the swing failure pattern. This was a pretty interesting sniper trade. It could be in that trade, stop loss above the high, and maybe even be defensive. If you do come all the way up here to this high over here, you're likely going to take up the highs. So then your next attempt would be a double top, right? So double tops at this region start to become interesting, but let's go with the longs first, okay? Let's go with the longs first here, guys. Bear with me. And this is it is a patience game, guys. Trading is a patience game. It's a boring game if it's exciting. If I want excitement, I go to the casino with $1,000, right? But if I want to trade seriously here, it's boring, and I need to wait for levels, regardless if it does come or not. And we just need to remain patient. Trading is actually boring. It's not an exciting career. It's not. If it's exciting, then you definitely need to control your emotions, right? But it's probably not for you if it's exciting. So yeah, with that theory, guys, since this was the pump that left the station from the highs of the last few days, this was the pump that left the station. For the moment, the highest volume candle is this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it is going to be true that this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, we continue grinding to the upside. If you would have followed the trend throughout the last few days, you could have longed wherever you want, right? On the pullbacks. So I am in favor of considering a long on this bullish market structure that we have in the last few days. At certain levels, only at certain levels, depending on the reaction. Because it wasn't nice. This was the only long position that we mentioned on the stream on Friday. And you might think, oh man, I don't know. This might be looking a bit toppy. This rejection wick from CPI data. Isn't this a topping signal? Right? Who wants to long after creating a big wick? After a failed breakout on the pullback, which was, this was this pullback right there. That was this pullback right over here. So, you might think, I don't want to long here, right? I don't want to long any pullbacks here. It's done, right? The momentum to the upside is done. It's in your best interest to follow the trend, guys, right? It's just it's in your best interest to follow the momentum. You know, trying to predict the top here in this region where there's not much resistance, with the potential of understanding Elliott wave theory that, hey, maybe this is not finishing just as of yet. Well, it's in your best interest to continue the momentum. So, as mentioned, out of speculation, I am considering this movement over here to already be a possible wave 3. Right? And this right over here, we're not counting this, right? We're just counting this momentum. That's the price action that leaves the station from this momentum. If we got a 5-wave move up here, and the biggest volume candle is this one, it is very common, very, very common for the retracement to hit the 4th wave, okay? It's very, very common. As it is very common, well, I'm kind of interested in this area, depending on the reaction. To consider maybe this is a 3-wave down, and it does get the reaction. It might get a little cheeky double bottom, but overall, that's where the price has the potential to resume the trend, okay? And it's a little bit of an SFP situation here. This is exactly taking into consideration Fibonacci from the low. Remember, we are labeling this as your possible wave 3, okay? We are labeling this as possible wave 3 here. Fibonacci retracement from this pivot low to the pivot high. The 382 Fibonacci is sitting slightly above, which is, I mean, it's okay to overshoot that 382. You can even come down to the 50% Fibonacci if we are considering a wave 4. This area is literally the zone. This is like the zone for the price to possibly bounce here if we are continuing the bullish market structure. We might get down there in the next coming hours. We might get down there, maybe on stream, right? And we'll have to analyze a little bit. Your most aggressive trade would be already entering on a swing failure pattern from this higher low. Right over here. That would be quite aggressive. Your hard invalidation is the golden pocket, okay, which is sitting at 113k. That's kind of your hard invalidation here to consider a wave 4 with this structure. So this is the area that needs to hold. If you want to be a little bit more of a sniper and manage risk very well, but if you do get that leg down, you could just SFP from here, form a higher low, and then continue the momentum to the upside. It could happen. You could double bottom. Just be aware that you could get a little bit of volatility in this zone. It could double, triple bottom. So if you have too tight stop losses, you could miss the trade, or enter with a lower capital and just consider, this entry zone on the reaction, have stop loss, at the golden pocket beneath it, and consider this, as a possible internal day trade, little swing long position to the highs, because it might take a couple of days, right? If it's more than a day, it's already a swing trade. So, I mean, yeah, this is the area. This has to be the area if I want to rejoin along. They say don't long the pumps when it's been pumping for 5-6 days, right? Don't pump because it's pumped too much right now. But, if you would have gone with that theory in the last few days, no, don't long here. Don't long here. Don't long here. Don't long here because it's already pumped. Well, yeah. Then, then you wake up tomorrow morning and we're trading at 118k plus, right? As long as the structure locally is bullish, we consider Elliott wave theory. We realize where are the zones of possible re-entry. I mean, we need to talk about the bearish case scenario, because there is a bearish case eventually. There always is. But locally, the structure is bullish, right? And with this theory that I just explained, in a corrective move usually gets below the fourth wave. It usually does when you have a 5-wave move to the upside. It is very, very common to get below the fourth wave. Very, very common, right? I mean, as a matter of fact, if you just get a screenshot of Elliott wave theory on whatever scenarios, you can see the C wave getting below the fourth wave here, right? Well, there's many, many scenarios, right? The correction after a 5-wave move up does like to get a lot of the times beneath that fourth wave, and it does usually get a reaction for a reaction bounce if you are going to continue the momentum. And this is very, very local price action, guys, okay? We need to zoom out a little bit, and I need to talk about the bearish case, but just so you get the theory here. High volume candle on the wave 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. You like to get beneath the fourth wave, and it's a good area where the price could find support and get the bounce. And in this case, as we are speculating, right, because it's all speculation, guys, at the end of the day, speculation and probabilities. If the bullish case is going to continue here, and we are looking at the wave from this point, because all of this is all different. We're looking at the rally from this low of Wednesday. If this has to be the build-up of multiple 1-2s, and this is the first moment that you leave the 1-2 channel, you're already considering a third wave here. Okay? You're considering it. So if this has to be a third wave, where inside you do have a valid 5-wave move to the upside, then this has to be your wave 3 of your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you need to have more 4, 5s as you have, packed 1, 2s in this zone, which you eventually look for market structure to just continue to the upside in the next coming days. So your best zone for all of those people that kind of are very, very bullish and want to join this trend momentum, look no further. This is the area. This is the area. Sweep your wave 4. Very common to get a reaction bounce. You just wait for the level. If it moves up from here, well, then you are considering, of course, that your wave 3 hasn't even finished yet, right? So this is just with this price action that we have right now, which, this can go in the bin, guys. If the price forms a higher low here and just, pumps to 118K, we're not considering this scenario anymore. This is a very, very local setup. So if it does pump from here, this is no longer valid, right? This is considering this high being the high locally. So this is why things change very, very quickly, right? But I think a lot of people want to see a little bit of more action, give me a setup for the next coming hours potentially that could happen. And this is a very, very common zone, right? When we do take a look at different strategies and different scenarios, a high volume candle retracement, is very, very good to hold as support, because if you lose it, you have this fair value gap, right? If you wish, you have this inefficiency. You don't in this case, because you're this high is very, very close. But yeah, you would just have to consider this scenario that, you actually got double support here. You actually got double support. You got the higher low right there, which did not overlap the wave 1, as you can see. So it's very much a valid wave 4 here internally. You actually got a bit of double support. You got resistance support flip with the higher low of the big volume candle. And there's many examples that I can show you on this, guys. Okay, it does work very, very well. Matter of fact, Matter of fact, let's just zoom out. Here, got legends. Matter of fact, we are going to we're going to consider this scenario right over here. Even still, it's, you know, right? When we take a look at the movement down, bear with me here. What do we have here? You have the biggest volume move to the downside, right? Liquidation, massive event. Your possible wave 4, well, I mean, I would confirm that this is already a 5-wave structure, right? I think there's no, we don't need to argue about this situation. So, I mean, this automatically does give this swing failure pattern a good option for a short. You know, I have to say, there was a bit of a sniper trade short. Whoever entered the 116 SFP, I mean, can just trigger the short, stop loss at the high. It's just such, they just give you a good option to enter and have a great risk management. These SFPs are they are absolutely solid. When we're talking about risk management, sometimes the price just breaks out. Let's be honest. Sometimes this SFP is just going to get a little pullback and it's going to break through, which could be the case. But I mean, yeah, this was the best example that I could give you right now on why the corrections of a wave 4 after a big volume breakdown are good for a reaction, which is literally what is happening. This is on the higher time frame. So I mean, the price has dropped already, you know, just over $1,000, right, in the last few hours from this 116k lower high. But that's literally what I'm explaining here, but on the 5-minute time frame, right? Which that higher low is right over here, which is like kind of crucial to get that local SFP if you want to maintain the local bullish market structure. There's no doubt in my mind that we are going to get some kind of a reaction at that zone. The question is the bounce going to be good, right? This short position from this lower high, it has the potential to go much lower. It has the potential of just dropping $1,000 and then bouncing. But your trigger is there. Your entry and your stop loss is there. You enter on the SFP and your stop loss is above the wick. You can take some profits along the way down and, you know, be defensive. Just gives you such a good solid entry when we consider this, right? And that kind of covers the theory here of, you know, hey, you got 5 waves up. Your retracement is common to get to the wave 4, and this is a reactionary area where the price could get that bounce. This is the same thing, guys, on this drawing, but to the downside, where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, you're getting a reaction. You're getting a small rejection for the moment. Will it succeed to lower prices or not? Well, that's, you know, the future will say. So when we go through the lower time frame, that's literally what I'm explaining right over here as a strategy. Okay, if this is a build-up of multiple 1-2s from this low, if this is a build-up of multiple 1-2s, and this is the first moment yesterday on Sunday where we can start considering a possible wave 3 because it's left the 1-2 channel, then eventually, if this is a 1, 2, 3 highest volume candle, 4 and 5, you're looking for the wave 4 to possibly retrace. Oh, sorry, not the wave. Yeah, well, it is a wave 4 when you're talking about 1-2s, a 3, 4. You're looking for the correction, if you know, to possibly bounce beneath that higher low, potential wave 4. Right, and this is like lower time frame, guys. You obviously want to be careful with all of this because lower time frame can be pretty, you know, you don't want to, this is the kind of trade as you are entering into dangerous territory, because there is a bearish case scenario, guys. We need to talk about it. Bearish case scenario is that you have some kind of a double zigzag in this zone or an ABC. Okay, but I just wanted to throw a little setup here with an explanation of wave 4s after a wave 3, the higher lows or the lower highs in this case, they are good for a reaction after a big volume candle. It's your responsibility eventually to handle your risk, because based on that theory, people do not know how to handle the trades. Maybe we don't hit this level, guys. It's just a good level for the reaction. If you do, if you break through beneath this zone, I wouldn't be that interested in speculating just because Andy said that this level is a possible wave 4 and it's always good for a reaction bounce. I'm going to put limit longs here, or I'm going to long even though we lose the level because I want to catch the low. That's not how you want to trade this situation. If you are trading beneath this level, I would no longer be interested. Your stop loss is very, very tight, and you need to reclaim the zone here. You need to reclaim it. You need to dip beneath that higher low, and you need to form some kind of a swing failure pattern here. Dip beneath it, get back above it. That's your entry trigger. Okay? And you're looking for a possible relief here. Will this relief come all the way up to the highs? It has a chance. We are still very much in bullish environment here. But that's the best zone that I could provide you responsibly to get into a possible position based on an SFP, based on proven data that, after a wave 3, you create your wave 4. It's a good SFP level after a high volume candle. We're looking at the most bullish case scenario. It might not be the one that's playing out, but for the moment it has its chances because we are in bullish market structure. Considering this higher low to the top here as your wave 3, funny enough, your wave 4s retrace to the 382, maybe the 50%. So if you have 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and this is your third wave, which has been pretty long. It's been pretty nice. It is a pump of $5,000 since Sunday. Look no further. Your wave 4 needs to bounce in this region. Okay, so yeah, that's what else can I say? This is the zone. You've got a naked point of control right there, but preferably we don't get that low. Just because you're going to get too close to the golden pocket, and you don't want a wave 4 at the golden pocket, then this is going to be, I'm going to be a little bit concerned. I'm going to be a little bit concerned here about the bullish market structure still. So anyway, that's a little bit of the scenario, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to talk about the higher time frame, but this is the only zone that I would be interested, okay, for the setup. And it's always good to give that explanation. There's many scenarios, guys. This one was the first one to come up to my mind. When did we form a 5-wave move? Well, you literally got one here throughout the last couple of weeks, right? With this major dump, and that wave 4 after the high volume candle is getting a reaction, right? That's the first point. But there are many scenarios here that we can explain after a 5-wave move. Where did we have a solid 5-wave impulse to the upside? We don't need to do that. We don't need to go and look for that at the moment. But yeah, you get the point. So yeah, let's go through the bearish case scenarios, guys. Okay, smash up the like button if you do enjoy the content. Needed to give that explanation and why you want to be patient. If the price bounces from here, guys, for me, this is not a, where do I put my stop loss, right? I cannot give someone, right, especially here live on YouTube, a scenario of longing now. Stop loss here is just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. Not a good idea to long just quite yet. If it bounces up from here, then so be it, kind of thing, right? You're just not participating in that move. Let's go right away through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. Andy, please share with us the aim for BTC if we will go higher today. Thanks in advance. Well, yeah, the idea is that the bullish market structure is still intact. We're talking about a wave 4 here, possibly on the formation, right? We could be forming a few 4-5s throughout the next coming days. We need to consider the bearish case, which we are going to cover right now in the next coming minutes. For any shorts, you know, if you're a sniper trader like John Wayne, then you know your best option was an SFP from this lower high, right? Just for a solid entry and stop loss at the high. You're ready to take that hit, right? If you get into this SFP on the rejection, you're just ready to take that hit if it does not, you know, successfully swing failure pattern, and that's it. But if I'm considering any shorts, unless you got into the swing failure pattern, we need a solid move down, guys, breaking, you know, this uptrend structure, right? You need some kind of, you know, structure change here, which has to be pretty damn aggressive. You need a pretty solid move down, you know, in a 5-wave structure that is actually getting down to, you know, 112, 111. And obviously the bounce is going to be studied, right? You know, this is where you study the bounce on how is it looking corrective. Do you have any local levels of resistance that you could back test? Okay, but you know, unless you sniper the high, you need the structure to change. If you're snipering an SFP of a lower high, which was the case at 116k, or a naked point of control, you know, it's kind of your only option if you want to really catch the high, which, you know, you need to manage your risk very, very carefully on these setups, unless you wait for the structure to change. And if this has to be bearish, if we are going to see a bearish move down throughout the next coming days, you will see this, right? You are going to see bearish market structure that will give you the chance to enter a short position at some point. Just like the bullish market structure that was created, you know, through the Wednesday lows, I gave the option of rejoining the uptrend, even though you didn't catch the SFP here, right? Say you didn't catch a long here, or you didn't catch a long here. On Friday, I gave the option of, hey, this is still bullish market structure, solid level of support, which is the previous day value area high and the daily open. If you are going to form a higher low here, you want to fake out of the previous day value area high and daily open and reclaim it. So yeah, I mean that's totally fine when you consider, you know, I didn't catch the high for the short. Wait, guys, the opportunities will come eventually. I didn't catch this low, or I didn't catch this one. Well, we do have bullish market structure. Well, you know, maybe we can catch this one over here on the reclaim. So this is the same idea. If this is still bullish, you need to understand that, yeah, if this is multiple 1-2s and you're forming your third wave, we should be creating a few 4-5s, right? You should be forming a few more higher lows and a few more higher highs into the next coming days. So if you want to rejoin that, obviously all-time high when you're in 4-5s always has to be a take profit zone and be defensive on your entry point, right? Stop loss at break even, literally. The only zone to re-enter here, this uptrend momentum, is this one, guys. I mean, in my understanding and my analysis, this is the only zone if you want to consider it holding as support, reclaiming that higher low, as explained with Fibonacci, 382 to 50%. That higher low where you have a high volume node usually holds pretty strong, and you don't want to lose that level successfully. When you have such a green candle like this with high volume, you literally don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose it. So that higher low after that green candle does usually provide some good support, and that's the zone where the price could really hold on to then, get that reversal back up to hit the highs again. So, yeah, that's a little bit of the explanation, right, on where the trading setups hide, right? Because, a lot of people would struggle to say, well, do I short now? Do I long? Or where's the level? Are we going to roll over from now? Well, first of all, we need to consider the trend. First of all, we need to consider how we've developed this movement from the start. And as explained, the most bullish scenario is that we're building up still this uptrend momentum, and we're still going to take out the highs a few times throughout the next coming days and stop out all of those people that are interested in shorting, right? So, yeah, that's basically it. Smash up the like button, guys, if you do like these explanations, because it does, I think it's just free information, free value. This is backed up. It's scenarios where it needs to hold. If it doesn't hold, you exit your trade if you entered a little bit too early. Most importantly, what traders need to, train basically is their risk management and their executions. Not technical analysis, right? You can know everything about technical analysis, but if you don't know your trading execution and risk management, then you that's something that you need to work on very, very hard. Long or short, Andy, says Stafford one. Yeah. Wait for that zone. This is an interesting long. We need to wait for this area. I do like this area that was explained. First major level that I would consider longing a pullback if it does hold. I like it. It's nice. It's a good level. After a good high volume candle, those higher lows are literally pretty good. And this is zooming on the lower time frame. This is like lower time frame day trade setup, because if you zoom out, well, this basically covers my theory here, right? Well, not my theory. It's just it's just how the market moves, right? It's just technical analysis. So with that theory here of a 5-wave move down, your wave 4 after a high volume candle is usually a reactionary area, right? The same has been explained, but on the 15-minute time frame, guys, right? So all good information, all good value, I guess. It's worth a slap on the like. Stafford one, you tell them. Can BTC fall completely? Of course it can. It can fall completely. It can pump to major higher levels. The fact here that you're saying, can Bitcoin fall completely? Well, now is where we're going to talk about the bearish case, right? For short setups, I have to say, we are in bullish market structure. Imagine me talking about short setups. Ever since Friday, I was not interested in shorts, guys. If we formed a 3-wave move up and we form a higher lower move up, maybe we're forming multiple 1-2s. This is no longer looking too corrective. We're still forming bullish market structure. Longs looks, more interesting. It was the only setup that we mentioned on Friday. We might as well follow the momentum, even though we formed this kind of rejection on CPI data. The structure was already not looking too bearish. Okay. So we need to talk about the bearish case scenario. We need to talk about it because there's always a bearish case, right? There's always a bearish case. Can't only be extremely bullish or extremely bearish. You always need to consider the bearish case scenario. So as explained, for me, this is the end. That's a finished wave. This is a finished move. There's no doubt about it right now with this movement. This wave is long. It's an independent wave. And talking about the bullish scenario, as explained, is just we are going to, we would continue bullish market structure, right? We would continue bullish market structure. We formed multiple 1-2s on the higher time frame. And now we're just forming multiple 1-2s on the lower time frame, and we just inside of the wave 3, we still have a few 4-5s to the upside to get developed to still form this wave 3 from this these wave 1 and 2s, right? The second 1 and 2. This would be 3, 4, and 5, right? So that's the bullish scenario. If you want to rejoin the bullish uptrend, the first level to hold and reclaim is that higher low at 114.2k. Yes, you can dip beneath it. You can test these highs. That's totally fine. But you want to kind of a resistance support flip, reclaim that higher low. If you want to rejoin the momentum, this is the only option. You need to get back above the highs. If you dip beneath it, I'm not interested in a long. You get back above it, I would be interested in the long. Stop loss at the low, entry point. You're looking for the structure to continue. So that's the only option. Super important. This is your guideline, guys. This is why having trend lines, horizontal lines on the chart is the guideline. This is the guideline. What does this mean? Not interested in the trade, interested in the trade. You're below, not interested. You're above, I'm interested. I got a stop loss. So yeah, it's just really that is like where the game changes. This is the where you participate. You get below it, I'm not participating. You get back above it, I'm participating. Right? So this is the guideline. It's the guideline to take the setup. And then obviously it's structured with what I've explained with Elliott wave theory and considering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The third wave with the highest volume. Sweeping up the fourth wave is very common. This would have to be a wave 4 because we have multiple 1, 2s. This could be your third. This is the fourth, 4, 5. You need a little bit of more explanation eventually behind that. Not only a random level on the chart, like just a VWAP, right? Long or short the VWAP, that's it, guys. Look at this. VWAP is absolutely crazy sometimes. VWAP is crazy. Look at this on Sunday. Holy smokes. How good was that? Just long the damn VWAP. But sometimes you're going to get below the VWAP. That's, it's not 100% that it works, right? Bouncing on VWAP nicely here, VWAP nicely here, VWAP here, VWAP here. Wow, VWAP holding here this entire move up from Thursday and Friday, except for this movement where this is the one that I, basically was interested in the long as explained on Friday, which was that did lose the VWAP. All depending on your strategy, right? For the moment, VWAP is not doing much here in this area, so it's in the, I wouldn't consider. You need to separate from the VWAP, right? If anybody is considering a VWAP to take into consideration for his trading, when you are trading, and this is super important, guys, anybody that wants a VWAP tip here, a little VWAP masterclass, you do not consider the VWAP as a support or resistance when the price is literally trading just a few $100s away from it for many hours. You consider the VWAP. So VWAP here is nothing. VWAP here is absolute BS. The VWAP is important when you separate with a big price action move. Then the VWAP could act very nicely as support. But when you are trading just a few $100s for several hours, very close to the VWAP, it literally becomes a nothing burger level, right? But when the price action separates from the VWAP, either to the upside or to the downside aggressively, then it becomes a good level of support or resistance. And that's literally the only thing that you need to know about the VWAP. Big moves separated away, very likely it acts as resistance and support. Why is XRP pumping? Very good question, my man. Stocks on fire, pumping like mad. Man, let's take a look at the S&P 500. What's going on? yeah, I mean, stocks at all-time high. We also formed that gap opening. There's nothing bearish about the stock market. What was very interesting about the stock market was a long position from here. You know, when I take a look at the NASDAQ or S&P 500, man, this was actually a pretty damn solid long position last week. Oh man, this was actually really solid long. Such a solid long position here. And the explanation is, you know, after this waterfall drop that we had from Friday the 10th, which crypto got absolutely obliterated, this bounce over here, bam, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. You got a bit of a contracting move right there. Sweep up all of the higher lows. Man, this was a pretty solid entry right there for a long position. It's in your best interest to look for longs on the S&P on big aggressive moves down. I mean, this is a train that doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon, man. This is so damn bullish. This is absolute insanity. I mean, trying to predict a crash here at this point in the last few months on the stocks, I think it's kind of pointless. You know, trying to predict when the market is going to really collapse. We got a major collapse on, you know, Friday the 10th. Man, look how quick this recovered. It's up to infinity. We need to talk about bearish case scenario for Bitcoin legends. Okay, bear with me here. We need to talk about bearish scenarios for the price of Bitcoin. Let me just organize a little bit of my charts here, and let's go quickly through the comment section. So this is the bullish case scenario. We just continue the momentum to the upside with shallow pullbacks, finishing here the 4-5 scenarios. Bearish case is, yeah, I mean, this would be disturbing, of course. This would be disturbing. Because if we do have a 5-wave move down, I mean, preferably we do continue pumping, guys, in the next coming days with shallow pullbacks till we at least finish, you know, a pretty solid impulsive move from this low. Because if price were to form, you know, the 4-5s in the bullish case, let me explain this. In the bullish case, you still haven't finished your third wave here from this 1-2, right? There's no chance you finish this third wave, right? This is very, very small. So in this 1-2 scenario, your third wave from your second 1-2 has not finished, despite us looking at the lower time frames at the multiple 1-2 setup. Because you have 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. You have 4 1-2s here, and you have only the third wave in. So you would want to see 4-5, 4-5, 4-5. And this then would be your third wave of your second 1-2, which eventually you need that 4-5, 4 and 5 to then all of this be counted as a solid impulsive move. So there's a lot of work still to do here to consider all of this structure from the lows of the 17th of October to be an impulse. There's a lot of work here to do still. So far, so good. There's nothing bearish about this, guys. You know, there's really is nothing bearish for the moment. Looking at the structure, and the you know, just continuation to the upside seems what is more likely for the moment based on the price action. Follow the trend. Local trend is still very much bullish. Bearish case scenario, not this one, that's bullish, but this one is, I mean, you know, when I would be a little bit worried, guys, and start thinking about bear market, is if we do get down from the current, you know, price action that we're forming here, maybe another high or not, it doesn't really matter. If you continue breaking through with the 4-5 idea that it was explained and just, you know, really hit 118, 119, then I wouldn't consider this scenario. But if we either topped out here or we create a double top and the price rolls over in the next coming days to fill the CME gap and actually get to lower prices. I mean, CME gap is literally where we have this higher low. And why this higher low is so important, because if you hit 110k and you're literally topping out in this area without creating the 4-5s, of course, if you create 4-5s and you're trading at 118, 19k, you know, this is no longer the invalidation. But if it does roll over soon, either this being the high or you create a double top, that's totally fine still. I would even still consider this part of one wave. You do have the possibility of 1, 2, 3 ABC here. You do have still a chance of this being a 3-wave structure. And if you have, you know, considering the lows of the 17th of October, you have 3-wave up, ABC flat, wave W, wave X, and a flat, and now this zigzag, which would be a double zigzag. You know, what worries me about, I mean, yeah, this is without a doubt the zone where it should top out, because a double zigzag target most commonly is the 1-to-1 to the 1-2-3-6 extension from your wave W, okay, down to your wave X. So when we get Fibonacci extension here from wave W start to the end of wave X, yeah, I mean, 1-to-1 to the 1-2-3-6 is your common area, target area for your wave Y and a double zigzag. So yeah, we literally already hit the you know, the first common target zone. It can stretch its legs to hit the 1-2-3-6. This is like very, you know, as we do have bullish market structure, it's very speculative. But if you want to take the shot on the bearish case, which could happen, obviously, you know, this is for the moment, I have to say it's the lowest probability, just because the local structure is bullish. Till that doesn't change, then obviously, you know, this is the lowest probability. When if the price is moving up, no matter how much resistance zones you have, you know, you have bullish market structure here. So if anybody wants to take the shot on the bearish case, you literally need to sniper the SFP that we did have already today of that lower high at 116k. And if the price moves up in the next coming hours to take those highs, double top is your option. Or, you know, maybe the 1-2-3-6 you could even consider. I mean, I prefer double top as an SFP here in this case. But I would say that this area is an acceptable double topping zone, right? You know, we love double tops and double bottoms, but you need to know which double bottoms and double tops you want to trade. And I would actually say that this is an acceptable zone to speculate on a double top for a larger pullback. Yeah, we got the CME gap as well, guys. So maybe that's in, you know, I'm interested in the short, right? To fill the gap. It doesn't really matter about the gap, but why is this area so good? Because you might think, why, you know, a lot of people that think about a double top or a double bottom as a trading strategy, you need to know exactly when is a good double bottom or a double top. Because if you attempted a double top, you know, maybe here, well, it didn't double top anyway, it's just breaking through. But this area, as explained on Friday, was not a good zone to look for shorts between, you know, the 116k and this high over here. I am not interested in any swing short area in this zone from the highs that were created on Friday. No chance. This is not a shorting zone based on the bullish market structure. And yeah, this definitely has steam here. There's no resistance, hardly any resistance. This is a poor SFP level. You know, you just don't consider it. As proven here in the last few days, the market has really pumped through. However, now it becomes interesting to look for double, triple tops, considering the possible bearish case. Because when we consider Elliott wave theory, there is this bearish case, legends, right? There is that bearish case where you have a zigzag up, flat here, and maybe could this be a zigzag forming a double zigzag? Most common target 1 to 1 to the 1 2 3 6. We already here, we got this lower high. You know, maybe this is the moment that the price just wicks out. You know, we're going to see a lot of people try and attempt to short the market, no doubt. And when you have a lot of people attempting to short the market at certain levels of resistance, what is common to see is the double, triple top situation, right? Where you take out the high again, maybe you take it again, and then you reverse, right? Might be one double top, might be one triple top. So, I mean, I have to say, double, triple top attempts here with good risk management, be defensive, is the zone that starts to be looking attractive purely based on this scenario. If you want to catch the high, if you don't want to catch the high, then, you know, the best thing is to wait for the local market structure change, get that impulsive move down to the downside, corrective structure, and then obviously we'll be eyeing the corrective structure to look for a short. If it looks very choppy and overlappy, we are interested in shorting the market. But you need that big structure change here at least to even consider, unless you're catching the highs, guys. And the only method that works on catching the highs safely is SFPs or double tops. And you know, this zone is becoming interesting for that scenario. I would prefer the price to continue to the upside in the bullish case, because I am in swing longs, mainly on Ethereum. So hopefully the market does continue pumping here, because I am in a few Ethereum long positions. I want to add to these long positions and to make these some pretty big trades. If you are interested, guys, in trading BTCC, okay, bluffing, they do have great bonuses on BTCC, $10,000 deposit bonus. Bluffing does have 15% cashback on your deposit, guys, only till the 30th of October, 3 days left on the 15% cashback deal that they do have. And you can trade gold here also using crypto. On BTCC, you can trade stock market. S&P 500, you can trade gold using US dollar tether if you wish, okay? Check out the links down below. You are eligible for all of those bonuses, okay? 15% cashback on bluffing or BTCC. You get $10,000 in reward bonuses, okay, from your deposit. You only need an email and a password, guys, to sign up to these exchanges. Check out the links down below, okay, if you are interested. Stock market is ripping, guys. What can we say? Bitcoin is still moving up. We've explained a little bit of the trading scenarios. If we are going to continue this uptrend momentum, I cannot long here at the moment, guys, for a new trade. We would have to come at least down to that level of 114.2 and reclaim it. That could be an interesting long to get back up to the highs and see what happens. For shorts, the only attempt would be local double tops at this point to give the bearish case maybe a chance, guys. But like I said, you know, it's looking quite bullish at the moment. So there's no proof that we are going to see a reversal here. So is it time for some altcoins? That's literally it, guys. There's nothing to discuss on the other higher time frames. We got a 5-wave down. Yes, it could be an impulse, and this could be a correction. Bear market, guys. Not good. I'm not leaning on that. I still lean on new all-time highs. We are seeing bullish momentum. If we roll over in the next coming days and we do hit 110K, which we only $5,000 away, right? It's not a big move. Yeah, I would start considering this being a correction, especially if you move down impulsively here, and it's going to be time to look for shorts, unfortunately. Unfortunately, because I do have spot bags that I want the price to pump to higher levels, so I wouldn't want to see a bear market from here. But this could start be bear market talk, guys. if we were to roll over here without successfully moving up with more waves, right? Those 4-5s, you know, you need to fit a solid impulse here, which we haven't got yet. If price rolls down in a 5-wave impulse from here, you do have some bearish counts. 3-wave, flat, 3-wave. It's not going to be looking too impulsive. It's going to be looking like a little bit of a channely, you know, situation here. Of course, we do have the inverted head and shoulder. I can see it right now before anybody talks about it. Inverted head and shoulder scenario. We're going to form the right shoulder, and then it's up to Valhalla. If we were to roll down from here, we'll monitor the situation there, right? Let's go through the comment section. I'm going to take a round on the table, okay? And then we are going to take a look at the comment section, take a look at some altcoins. Maybe we take a look at gold, maybe stocks, maybe Ethereum, maybe some other cryptos, Solana, XRP. But we covered Bitcoin basically on the, you know, different possibilities. I'm mainly swing long on Ethereum. Anybody that wants to know about my trades, I'm, you know, not too fussy about, you know, talking about, you know, me, you know, my profits and my trades. Look at me. No, it's all about you guys here on YouTube, okay? It's all about you, not me. So I'm going to go through the comment section. Market open in 1 hour and 8 minutes. Oh yeah, we got the hour change as well, right? In Europe. Damn. Yeah, that's right. They changed the hour in Europe. I am European. I am Spanish. I'm from Spain. And I totally forgot about that. They changed the hour, didn't they, yesterday? It's 1 hour back, right? There was a 2-hour difference here from Dubai in Europe. Now there's a 3-hour difference. Well, depending if it's UK or not, because UK is 3 hours, so now it's 4 hours. Anyway, market open in 1 hour says, I thought it was going to be in 7 minutes, but no, it's in 1 hour and 7 minutes. So yeah, we might hold on to the stock market open. What do you think about that? Let's do some gold. Would be interesting. Can also trade it on BTCC. Do some gold analysis. Absolutely. Why not? Devil, my man, much love to you, my brother. How are you doing? Devil is a coach in the Legends Pro community. He's been providing the updates today. Very classy, very, you know, he's an absolute legend. Go and check his channel out as well, guys. He does YouTube content also. Sin Games. Damn, I forgot also. Lol, I'm in Morocco from the UK. Sin Games. Oh, cool. Living in Morocco. Nice. Yeah, they've changed the hour. I think this, it's the last weekend of October, right? Which is, yeah, obviously it was yesterday or Saturday or Sunday. No, it's in 7 minutes, Bubs. Oh, yeah, because, oh, sorry, my bad. We're getting this wrong, guys. Even though there's been the hour change in Europe, the market opens. Oh, so Suzanne's getting it wrong here. The market does open in the US. They don't change the hour in the US. It's only in Europe. So it is in 7 minutes, the market open. Damn, I was getting here. It opens in 7 minutes. That's right. Oh, OMG, Suzanne, you got me tripping here at the moment. I was mixing the US, also changing the hour. It's only in Europe. So, yeah. It doesn't matter. It happens. It used to happen to me when I was living back in Spain. You're right, Suzanne. Much love. Can you please look at what is this crypto? To be bad depth. We'll take a look at that crypto. It's time to take a look at some crypto. Smash up the like button. I'm just going to take a sip of water, guys, because my throat needs it, and then I'll continue through the comment section. And we will dive in through some altcoins, maybe stock market. It is opening now in 5 minutes. Go around the table, smash up the like button, and we'll continue here through the comment section. Okay, legends? I mean, that is good just to stretch my legs. Just need to stretch my legs, go around the table, have a sip of water, and we're back. Bitcoin, the plan is, I've got the 4-year cycle. Man, I just have a feeling that if I talk about this, people are going to be bored. But let me know if it's in of your interest, because, I mean, it is curious about Some people will take this as a religion. 4-year cycle theory, if we do not pump and hit all-time high by December, it's over, right? Which, you know, you would say, yeah, I would believe so. Maybe that's it of your interest. We can take a look at that as we do smash up the like button, legends. Let's get to 300 likes. That would be absolutely awesome. 5 minutes. Yes, in games, it is true. Getting Europe, US time, and, you know, UAE time mixed up. ICP, are we in a massive accumulation spring? I would say, you know, ICP is likely going to recover at least above $6-7. Okay, then we're going to have to see how it pushes up there. But yeah, what can we say, guys? I'm in this boat. I am down heavily on this one. Yeah, I invested about $50,000, guys, and I'm literally down, you know, over 20,000, 20 odd thousand just on this goddamn altcoin. But I mean, 90% of the altcoins that, you know, got the crash eventually of Friday the 10th, man, it's 90% of the altcoins, guys, right? Yeah, maybe not XRP, maybe not Ethereum, not Bitcoin. Eventually Bitcoin's pretty much halfway through that, you know, that liquidation dump. But yeah, a lot of the altcoins, guys, you know, whoever's invested in altcoins, no matter how good the project is, you know, we got caught up on this drop. Okay, so, but yeah, we've tested the lows right now. It's kind of a liquidity flush. You know, is there going to be more selling pressure at this zone, or are we going to slowly start recovering to the end of Q4? I strongly believe that at least it's going to get a rally above the lower highs here, which is $6.20. It's at least going to get a rally from this point. Will it explode out, or will it create that topping scenario? It might be a good moment to maybe exit, yeah, slight profit, you know, or close to break even, right? I would be happy to get my money back. But yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a chance, in my opinion, to exit in some profits, you know, for anybody that, you know, accumulated in this zone. There will be a chance. We're just going to remain patient here for that recovery. There's no doubt that, you know, you would sell down here. You're just capitulating on the possibly the exact low. So it's really not worth it, in my opinion. I'm going to hold the unrealized loss, hold the tokens, and wait for a recovery whenever that happens, guys. It's just really not worth right now, you know, taking the loss. At least for me, anyway. So yeah, let's go right away and continue here. The lap of honor. Yes, need to stretch my legs, man. Much love, Nico Soapy. Much love to you, brother. Yes, 4-year cycle theory. Let's talk about it. Yes. Screw the whole cycle. BS. Says Staffer One. We wanted to see some action, some technical analysis on some altcoins and lower time frame. Bitcoin has been covered, basically, guys. Okay, levels of interest. Considering, you know, solid levels of confluence, Elliott wave theory also. I have to say, double tops, you need to give it a chance for the bears right now, because I think, you know, people are flipping a little bit bullish. Too much, too quickly. Let me know in the comment section. Let me create a poll here before we go through some other cryptos and what the people suggest here. Are you feeling bullish? Bullish for the coming weeks? Let me know, guys, on that poll. Are you feeling bullish for the coming weeks? So obviously that is higher. We go higher despite any pullbacks, right? You feeling bullish entering into November? Let me know on the poll, guys, okay? Because I want to see the sentiment here. Never let a disaster go to waste. I also have a bag of ICP, says Devolt. Yeah, we got trapped on that one. We got trapped, but I think we can get out of that trap in the next coming weeks or months. Okay, I do expect a altcoin crypto recovery. If it does not happen in the next, I have to say, this is where the 4-year cycle theory is important. right? This is where the 4-year cycle theory is important. The Bitcoin dominance is important. Man, I do expect a rollover on the Bitcoin dominance, but I actually even expect it to go slightly higher. Feel that wick also from the capitulation, right, liquidation event that we had on the 10th of October. So I think that the Bitcoin dominance is gonna rally slightly to the upside in the next couple of weeks, but ultimately we are looking for that rollover, and hopefully our altcoins do rally into profit. Never mind about the 10 20x's, it's getting back to profit, right? So yeah, this is the thing with the Bitcoin dominance dropping so much throughout July and August. Man, so many are literally even below the levels where altcoins were trading when Bitcoin dominance was at 65. So man, it's not looking too great for so many altcoins, right? Yeah, this is the thing, right? This is the price that you need to pay if you're playing around with altcoins, unless you bought Ethereum, XRP, Chainlink at the lows, right, 2 years ago, or Solana as well. Solana was an awesome buy 2 years ago. If you're playing with the ones that haven't recovered in the mid-cap zone, top 100, top 200, man, lots of them are even below the prices that they were when dominance was at 64, 65%, which is an absolute insanity. So hopefully we're going to get that rollover on the dominance here before the end of the year to basically get the bags back into profit. 4-year cycle theory, I think it's interesting to go through the 4-year cycle theory, because at the end of the day, those mints usually mean a dump is coming, says Saucy. Please ADA analysis. The market just opened. Market opened. Are we getting any local volatility on the market open? Bitcoin might come down to that zone of interest. Okay, if stock market is opening with a little bit of a dumpy action, it might just drop $700-800 to come to the first zone of interest to consider rejoining the uptrend momentum. That is if this zone holds, right? It's important to hold this area. Muy importante, because if it does not hold, then eventually, we look for lower prices, right? You got that naked point of control of this zone on Bitcoin, which is, slightly below this. And this becomes the zone of interest, zone of support to potentially bounce back up. That higher low from the volume candle and this point of control. Any longs here, I can say good luck. I don't know where to put stop loss if this is the case. So yeah, 4-year cycle theory. Let's go through that right away. Top 5 altcoins, only ones worth bothering with. Very true. My main bag, well, I've got Chainlink, which is in the top 20. I'm not sure where Chainlink is standing at the moment. Yeah, Chainlink is ranked 16. $18, not too bad. It is still doing okay. But yeah, I think Chainlink is a pretty solid one. The market is already open, yes sir. Let's go through right away the 4-year cycle theory, guys. Okay, it's just a quick one. There's nothing really to talk about. Okay, it's just to go in an overview of where we've peaked out on the previous cycles. 2013, it was December. Okay, also December of 2017. In 2021, it was November. So you're kind of eating up a few weeks here from this cycle to this cycle. Does that mean that, you've eaten up a few weeks already from the previous cycle here? Because the local all-time high is in October, right? Has been in October. I believe, based on the information that we have on the charts, guys, considering Elliott wave theory very aggressively, that this is part of a correction still in an ABC flat. But this movement, as explained, man, I'm going to be concerned if we do get down to 110k. If we were to roll down in the next coming days, man, I am going to be concerned about, you know, the bullish case. So we're getting that dip right now. Stock market potentially is getting a little bit of a dumpy action. Let's set some alerts here because this is the first reactionary area that I would be interested in. Let's put some alerts down here. But going through the 4-year cycle theory, we're getting a little bit of action. Let's go through Bitcoin because stock market is open right now, and we are getting a bit of local volatility here on Bitcoin. But nothing really changes. I think this would be not a great entry, not a great double bottom in my opinion. It's still too shallow. I would rather want to see these higher lows after the big high volume candle. So for me, there's nothing much to do here. We need to tap into this zone and reclaim it. There's nothing more. That's my local strategy for a local setup here. Could you double bottom from here and get the bounce? I mean, it is possible, but it would still be very, very shallow for me anyway. For me, it would be very, very shallow. It's a little bit of a sniper attempt. Very, very aggressive sniper attempt. I'm personally not interested in this one. Sweeping up these higher lows right there. You got a bit of a head and shoulder. You got a bit of a head and shoulder here, legends. Yeah, would be a little bit too aggressive. Unless you're entering, you're being defensive. Yeah. I would rather see a solid 3-wave move, right? A 3-wave move that takes out the low. I would rather see a solid 3-wave move down and get to the most important zone of support. This is not a great double bottom to get into a long. I'm going to wait. I got some alerts here right there. So let's just wait to see if the price does come down to that zone and finds a little bit of support. Let's go through the 4-year cycle theory. Let's just continue with this because what is interesting about this, the bear markets have been very similar in time. 1 year. Okay, here it was more than a year here back in 2014, part of 15. The breakout to all-time high happened before the halving in this cycle, which we kind of, gives you that little bit of worry about, are we front running the 4-year cycle theory? And, people that are expecting the cycle to top out in November or December, well, literally December, I think most of the people are expecting to extend another few months. What if this is already the top, guys, just purely based that we topped out in November on the previous cycle, and the previous one from there was December, right? What if December, November, October, right? I have to say, for me, there's no major reason to believe yet that the top is in, right? The moment this price action, as explained on Bitcoin, we're getting that roll over here a little bit. Let's see if we do move down at least another $500. That would be the first interest zone to get a reaction here. And if it doesn't, and if it breaks down, then we go lower, guys. Then, we have the risk already. There would be the risk already of, maybe this has been the top, right? If you start rolling to 113, 40 to 112, this is the first higher low region that you want to see supported. But the thing is, because we have a 5-wave move to the downside, and we have the WXY scenario, which is the bearish case. When you think about it, 110k is not that far away. 110k is not that far away. This would be, man, this would be for me a confirmation that the move up has been corrective. If we get down to 110, well, literally 109.7k, which is only less than $5,000 away, I would, well, you know, not sure if I would consider selling some Bitcoin, but it would be a little bit worrying without a doubt. As long as you maintain bullish market structure locally here, I mean, it's fine. You know, there's no reason to be bearish. Obviously, you don't want to be bearish when the market's already dumped, you know, $30,000. You want to try and realize the signs of weakness already at higher levels. Would be very interested in looking for shorts, guys, if the price does move down to this zone, and I would be managing Ethereum trade, and, you know, would start to be very, very skeptical about the situation here. But yeah, this would be the confirmation level here that this move up is a correction. A multiple 1-2 scenario here. I mean, yeah, I cannot find a solid impulse here. I mean, there's no way of counting this as a solid 5-wave structure in an impulse. This, for me, would be a 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up. If you lose this higher low, yeah, I'm, you know, especially if it moves down aggressively in a 5-wave impulse, then the bounce is going to be very attractive to look for shorts. I think there's going to be a poor corrective bounce in this zone if that is hit, just because there's no solid way, if the price retraces from now, if it retraces from now to hit this higher low created on last Friday, there's no solid way to count either multiple 1-2s or, you know, an impulsive move. You're literally already fading the bullish scenarios if you get above this higher low that would confirm that this is a 3-wave structure. There is, you know, I've been looking at this carefully before the stream, and there's just no solid way of counting a 5-wave up here to consider higher low and then move to higher levels. And you might think, yeah, you're forming an inverted head and shoulder. I mean, without a doubt, you know, there is support down there. We got the range, you know, point of control area. I mean, you know, you could get a bounce here in this zone. There's no doubt about it. But the ultimate confirmation would be hitting this low over here for me to say, I would be happy to come out and say, I think we're likely going to claim this low and even this low if the price comes down to this area. Even though, yeah, you're going to get likely a reaction bounce, but I would be interested in getting, you know, looking for shorts on that reaction bounce. If this were to happen in the coming days, yeah, you got higher low support trend line. You got the inverted head and shoulder theory, right? Right shoulder close to the left shoulder zone. And, you know, yeah, there should be a reaction bounce somewhere in the zone if it were to come down there. But if it moves down very impulsively, the bounce is going to be very, very attractive to look for shorts, in my opinion, because I think ultimately we will lose that higher low support trend. So we're going to have to go level by level here. For the moment, market is bullish. It is going up. There's no reasons to believe it's going to roll over. This is why, in this case, you either short the SFP from this, you know, this lower high here, which is the wave 4, right? That kind of covers the theory of shorting an SFP of a wave 4, right? This is just a very, very, after a high volume candle, the dead cat bounce wave 4, it's usually good level to get a reaction. So anybody that's sniper short early this morning, or depending on where you are, it was a okay entry with good risk management, I have to say. It's a good sniper short, a wave 4. So, you know, the only re-entry for a short here, I think it's the best interest to rejoin along on the trend. As mentioned, this has been explained throughout the first hour of the stream. To consider a short, I have to see a big move down, and preferably claim this low. If we already get a 5-wave down here, and then the bounce is very choppy, I would maybe even consider already a short if we can count a solid impulsive move down and a very, very choppy corrective structure. But preferably you do claim this low. But we need that solid 5-wave down, corrective up, to even consider joining the possible rejection. Because shorting now where we at, not the best option. Shorting where we at, unless you sniped the SFP of this level, entering shorts right now is not the best option. There's not enough information or weakness to consider a short here, guys. There's not enough information. We got actually a little bit of a back test here from these lower highs. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. You got the wick high of Sunday, right, with high volume. There was acting as resistance. We kind of back tested it today. I wasn't paying attention to this. Not an easy. Well, I mean, if you reclaim this zone, you don't want to be in the short. But this is also kind of a strategy. I did teach this on my modules. It's kind of a failed auction back test, right? Where you back test the high volume candle. It is important to have a high volume candle there. And your first TP is basically the lows. I've just noticed that right now. Kind of a back test of this level. Kind of acceptable for. The problem is stop loss here. Stop loss. Need to give it a bit of room. But yeah, only long setup possibility, as explained, is this area. Let's see if we do react. We might be coming down there in the next coming hours. This could be a 3-wave structure. I think this long is a bit aggressive, in my opinion. It is aggressive. You already have a 3-waver. I prefer waiting for a little bit lower. And this would be the best option to reclaim and consider that long, for, at least in my humble opinion, guys, here, when I'm analyzing the levels and the chart and the structure. So yeah, that's basically it here on Bitcoin. 4-year cycle theory. Not really much to say about this. Could we peak out? It's purely based on the information that we have on Elliott wave theory that is going to give us the signs of weakness and the signs of strength, as explained. If we were to lose this higher low right over here at 110k, I'm going to start feeling a little bit skeptical about claiming the lows at 103.6k. okay, that is the moment that I realize it's a sign of weakness if we were to roll down here in the coming days without going higher, right? If we go higher, then it's all good. Then this we can count an impulsive move, as explained at the beginning of the stream. But if we lose this low, at least tap it. The bounce, I would be interested in shorts, and I would be targeting this higher low at 106.7 and even 103.7 potential, right? Till that doesn't happen, the structure is bullish. We're looking for higher. There's nothing to worry about. If you want to snipe a trade trying to catch the highs, this was your first option. And I have to say, a local double top here would also be an okay option to give this bearish case scenario a chance, which is a 3-wave up in a zigzag W, 3-wave flat in an X, and a 3-wave up in your wave Y double zigzag, which is already coming to the common target zone, 1-to-1 to the 1236 extension. I mean, if you want to catch the highs, your only chance is double triple tops in this region. I wouldn't even consider a chance of shorting where we are right now in this bullish market structure that we have from the last few days. The only chance that you have is SFPs of this high, double triple tops, and if you break out from the highs, you're not shorting. And we haven't got much levels above us, I have to say, guys. You got this inefficiency right there that, holy smokes, you want to be careful if you want to consider any shorts in this region. You want to be very, very careful because, you know, with the bullish case, it's only if you double top, guys. Only if you reject from the highs you can snipe a trade, because it might be the one that rolls over. But if you're trading above the recent highs, there's no way in a million years, guys, that I would even consider a short if it's breaking out. Forget about shorting and adding up to the position. If you do this kind of strategy, you're going to get burnt heavily one day. I've done it before many times. This is why I'm saying it. This thing about adding to position randomly when you realize that there's no resistance. It's, you know, fair value gap right there. Yeah, you can reject from it with fake outs, but if it does not reject, oh my goodness, you know, you can fill, you know, this entire gap right there all the way up to 120k. There's just no area to play around with shorts, in my opinion, because you can get hurt very, very aggressively if you're not managing risk. Okay, so with this theory, the only option that you have is either catching this high, which price is pumping right now, so you're probably going to get stopped out at break even, or take out the highs, double top. Only if you reject, you can consider that short. If you trade above the highs, you want to get out fast. You want to get out fast before the price continues to the upside. Don't be in an underwater, unnecessary trade here in a short, guys. You don't need to. Even though if you believe that the price is going to top out, it's a fake pump, it's a Sunday pump, we got a gap down here, so we're going to roll over at some point. So I'm just going to go epic in shorts here. If you're using too much leverage, guys, this is a dangerous, dangerous area. You've got a fair value gap there. There's no resistance. So the only resistance that you have to roll over is basically where we got rejected today, which is the top of the fourth wave. This is the only resistance that you have to literally roll over from here. Maybe another attempt that could give you stopping out the first short positions and then it rolls over. Maybe. Because obviously there's going to be shorts entering the market. Let's take a look at order flow here 1 second. Wow. Woo. Bybit longs are going crazy here. Holy smokes. We've got 12 million longs on Bybit entering the market right now on this pump. Not what you want to see. This is going to create big bearish CVDs. My goodness. Yeah. Lots of longs entering here. Which is actually pretty good. If you get more longs entering and you take out the highs, and it just builds up to 20-30 million longs, it's actually pretty good for a double top locally. If you get longs entering here at the highs like crazy as we take out the highs, okay, 10, 20, 30 million. If it does reject, preferably you get longs, more longs entering on the breakout, which you can see on the CVD, right? You can see the spike of longs or on order flow. Then yeah, I would be very, very interested in looking for that double top. But I understand that it is dangerous. Because why is it dangerous? Well, first of all, the bullish market structure is the market structure is bullish. First of all, right? You know, we are considering the multiple 1-2s here. And I think it would be relatively easy for the market. I mean, if it breaks out, yeah, you could retrace and this could back test as support and then boom, bang, right? Till you actually start getting to some resistance area, right? But I think this inefficiency is going to be filled up very nicely. Yeah, you might get a pullback, but I would be looking for a bounce, higher low. Boom, 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 right? Your only chance here for the bears is to either reject from here now or double top. If you trade above that zone, guys, do not enter shorts. I mean, do whatever you want. No financial advice, but it's just a dangerous area. There's literally no solid level of resistance here between 116 and 120k. It's a big $4,000 gap that could very easily climb up for the price of Bitcoin in the next few days. Okay, so this is the resistance of rejection. Only option is double tops. You need to reject from that high to give you that sniper trade, just like we did here just a few hours ago. I mean, obviously the price is reacting here, because if you break this zone, it's a very easy zone to move up from. There's no resistance. ADA is also good. Entry coming. For me, it's either double top or, yeah, we did not retrace here. It did end up, you know, in a three-wavy structure. I think this is looking, I wouldn't say, yeah, there's not enough here. If we would have come down, I mean, obviously I would have been interested in looking for the longs here, but if we would have come down here to this area and you bounce up to almost claim those lower highs, just as we're doing right now, then this is bullish. It's confirming a three-wave structure. If this is an A, B, C, your B wave has overshoot the 1.618 extension from your A wave, no longer a high probability scenario. So high probability in taking out the highs is very, very likely. However, because this low just barely got beneath this low, this could be a flat in the bearish case. So it doesn't become too attractive to ape in longs here, especially when there's so many longs entering here. This could be a wave one. This could be an A, B, C running flat or regular flat, and then it rolls over. So yeah, if this would have come down a bit more, and then this pump happens, then that would be more bullish. That would confirm a corrective structure, as this third wave cannot be a B wave. Well, it can, but its probabilities are very, very low. So yeah, it's either double top. If it doesn't, we go higher. Even still, rolling from here, I would be possibly interested in this zone. Still interested in this area to hold as support if we come down there, as mentioned. Let's go through comment section, see what the legends are saying. Shorting it to $92,000, says Matty. Much love to you, brother. I hope you did smash up the like button on your way in. Let me know. CVD bearish. Yes, CVD is actually looking pretty intense, but we got, you know, suddenly we got lots of shorts entering the market right now. So holy smokes, there's a Bybit bulls and bears are in a battle right now, because just in the last 30 minutes we had an insane amount of longs entering, and now there's an insane amount of shorts. So we got a bit of a pump and dump. There's actually bullish CVD divergence right now forming, at least on Bybit. Lots of shorts entering right now. Bit of a confusion here on the CVD locally. Let's go. Staffer one here with the links. You got Wix, you got Bluffin, you got BTCC, guys. Those epic exchanges down below. BTCC, you can trade stock market as well here on BTCC, or gold. Bluffin, you do have all of the altcoins, you know, hundreds of altcoins here. And you can also trade gold. You got the best deals down below, guys. Bluffin, 15% cashback on your deposit, so you can use for your trading, and up to $10,000 on rewards on your deposit here. The more you trade and deposit, the more rewards you're going to get on BTCC, which you have stocks, okay, S&P 500 and gold also to trade with crypto, guys. Anybody that is interested, you got the best bonuses. Links down below. You just need an email and a password, guys, for these ones. What else can we take a look at here? Ethereum. I think we should cover Ethereum, guys. Who's up for Ethereum? Ethereum is the main one that I'm trading here in the last couple of weeks. I'm in a swing long, which I want to build up. I mean, if Bitcoin does manage to continue here, this momentum to the upside in the next coming days, it's going to be looking pretty damn bullish, guys. If we can complete some kind of a solid 5-wave structure here, which we are still developing, guys. I have to say, there's nothing 5-wavy about all of this structure. If we roll over from here, it's not. We need to build up here. We're still in the wave 3 of this second wave 2. It still needs a few days of market structure build up here to complete a potential 5-wave. If we complete this on the next coming days, for me, it's going to be pretty obvious that, yeah, all-time high is going to happen very, very soon, potentially in November, right? Get some kind of a corrective pullback, and then off we go. It's not doing a bad job, let's say, but there's still a lot of work to do here to consider a strong impulsive move up. So there's still a lot of work to do here for the bulls. They're doing okay. We're at big resistance, as explained. So they are struggling right now at this moment where we have this fair value gap. They are struggling right now at this level. But I think, yeah, if we do solidly break above 116K, I would arguably discuss that, you know, we could easily rally to 120K, even though we do have, I mean, we do have the point of control of this entire range since July, legends, which we need to consider, right? We need to consider that the point of control of this entire range since July is kind of halfway through of that fair value gap. I wouldn't say it's going to do much just because it didn't do much here. Didn't do much here. If the bulls break out here, I think they're gonna make the effort of slicing through here the fair value gap. In my opinion, is the kind of point of control of a range that's probably not going to do much. What's going on here? We will see 33K. Wow. Oh yeah, before 200K, maybe. $33,000 before 200K. Okay, yeah, maybe yes. Yeah, for this cycle to reach, yeah, for this cycle to reach $200,000, guys, I'm gonna be realistic. I think it's unlikely. Okay, I know you're gonna see these big famous investors, Raoul Pal, Tom Lee, the other day. Man, this guy's been wrong more than me. I can tell you that. He was extremely bullish on the previous cycle, calling for plus 100K and even higher. You know, these random predictions without any solid analysis and market structure, and, you know, taking into consideration 4-year cycle theory as well, and just the local Elliott wave structure, calling for $200,000 to happen in the next few months. Yeah, it's pretty random. It's pretty wishful thinking. It's pretty wishful thinking, right? If we are going to get this rally, and this is, you know, even coming to May of 2026 on the drawing. I'm going to have some Bitcoin still, because I'm never selling all of my Bitcoin, just in case this does happen, right? But I'm already 25% out of my spot holdings. And, you know, if we were to roll down and hit 110K, I would consider selling another 10-15%. You know, I seriously don't want to roll into the bear market like the previous cycle, guys. This was I don't want to hold the amount of Bitcoin that I have down to 50K. I seriously don't, because that will half my, you know, net worth almost. And yeah, I don't feel like, you know, I don't feel like that happening. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, going down to $30,000, I think is a little bit aggressive. But man, who knows? I mean, if shit is going to hit the fan and we are going to go into a depression, recession / right? Who knows how low we can go in a bear market, right? Bear markets are pretty brutal as well. Bull markets are brutal, but bear markets also can be pretty brutal. So 30K, I think that would be pretty brutal target for a bear market. I'm targeting this order block, this wave 4, basically $50,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I'm considering this the 3 and the 4, and you know, as mentioned throughout the stream today, it is common to get below the 4th wave. There's many 4s here actually possibly being created, but I would say the wave 4 of the ultimate cycle, which is this zone over here, which would be 50k. 50k is my bear market target. Could it hit 45k? Yeah, maybe. But this would be a realistic zone for the bear market to start thinking of a comeback, you know, bottom out. The bulls are going to say that there's not going to be a bear market. That's, you know, very, very common. People that are Bitcoin maxis and they see the revolution are going to say there's no chance that we're going to go below 50k. But you know, bear markets do happen, guys. The market moves in ups and downs, and 33k seems close enough. My target zone for a bear market is going to be 50k region, just because I'm considering Elliott wave theory, of course, and considering this, you know, the wave 4 zone. So getting below the wave 4 is very, very common. This is going to be the first major zone. It could drop another 10k or so and then bottom out. But that's going to be, without a doubt, start to reaccumulate very aggressively for then the next cycle that likely will take us to 200k plus, right? Maybe even higher. CME gap 111k says, hold my beer. Yes, sir. Manuel. We have point of control of entire range in that gap. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I was just pointing that out, that there is that point of control of this entire zone since July in the middle of the fair value gap. It could be a failed attempt, right, to break above 116k. It's sitting at 117.6, so not too far away. Yeah, considering that, yeah, this is literally, we do have some resistance. There's no doubt about it. 117.6k is the resistance if we were to break through here. But it's not going to be an easy short. You know, if it does hit the level and reject, it's not going to be an easy short, right? Just short the point of control resistance, because it could slice through the level. So not the kind of short that I'm looking for here on Bitcoin. BTC dumping, it is getting a little bit of a move down. Yeah, there's so many longs entering here suddenly. Yeah, we'll want to be careful eventually in this area. That's the first bouncing zone that I see potentially to get that bounce. Can you take a look at total 3? Wow, we can take a look at total 3. Why not? Let's take a look at total 3 here for one of the legends. And what is total 3 saying? What is total 3 saying? Let's wait. Let's go through the comment section as this does load up, because it's taking a bit of time. There we go. Yeah, I'm leaning on the theory of the total 3, same as the total 1, has a good chance of getting another leg to the upside. However, you know, this is holding by a thread right now when we consider the logarithmic. You know, the sad fact about this is that, man, I think, oh my goodness, this predicts that there's going to be a brutal bear market, guys. Total 1 even looks better on a contracting diagonal to the upside since the initial stages of crypto, basically, right? In the total 1 starts from 2013, I think, 2013-14, when Ethereum was created and altcoins were starting to be created. But you literally have a 5-wave move to the upside already. And just looking at the world and economy and everything, there's so many cracks. There's something's going to happen soon, guys. I don't know what's it's gonna be, right? Remember in 2020 when we had the C19 event, that gut feeling, just seeing how everything is going around in the world. I have that feeling that there's going to be something cracking very aggressively, potentially in 2026, or maybe it might stretch to 2027. But when you take a look at these kind of charts, total 3, the sad thing about this is that you already have taken out the highs of the previous cycle, and a wave 5 can double top. A wave 5 does not need to extend to wherever you want it to extend. We've hit the highs already. So on the total 1, it looks kind of better. But you also have already here hit the highs. You can see it here. You got a massive contracting diagonal here. Obviously, what you're looking at here is a brutal bear market, but ultimately, in the next coming years after the bear market, crypto's going to change the way of finance. Because that wave 3, you're looking for a wave 3 here, basically, which is going to completely change how the world works. We are at the first leg of adoption, and the first leg of adoption is kind of completed. So you need that devastating reset. It's just a reset to go to higher levels, right? Kind of like the dot-com bubble in the year 2000, right? You had a few years of everything that was dot-com absolutely flying. And it's kind of a similar thing to crypto. You got nice, solid 10 years here of people dipping their toes. And this is going to change the future of finance. But before that happens, things are not going to be looking too great, guys, right? That's my theory. Just looking at total 3 and total 1, you have a completed, the 5-wave potentially ending, in the next coming months, if not ended already. I would like to believe that the 4-year cycle theory is not finished, and we do have a few months of stretching our legs here, and we could pump up a few $1 trillion in total market cap. But, where's the money, right? Who's going to come in now when Bitcoin's at all-time high? Who's going to be buying? When we're staying realistic with the situation worldwide, I'm not too sure if we are going to extend here in a wave 5 and get a few trillion in the total 3 market cap before that bear market. I'm not sure, legends. What do you think? Worst bull run for me, crypto GUI. Yeah, I luckily entered in the previous bull cycle in the bear market in 2018, and I have positioned myself very nicely. I've bought Bitcoin, Ethereum, and at much cheaper levels, and whoever got into the bull run, especially on altcoins. Bitcoin's doing pretty solid, I have to say. Bitcoin's still good. But yeah, where I bought most of my Bitcoin is in this region. I did buy in the previous cycle, but I just didn't buy much. I had more money here than I had back here. So yeah. And I was very vocal about this. I stopped buying Bitcoin, guys, as soon as we were breaking $30,000 and just riding the momentum up. We had a lot of time here to buy. Legends, it's only down from here. Yeah, my man. Worst bull run for me. Everyone thinks this cycle is super cycle, but no, next cycle, super cycle, right before global depression. Yeah, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. When we consider 4-year cycle theory, it is true that, man, this is like a prophecy, right? This is a religion. This is it, right? We haven't got much time, so we need to start being a little bit defensive. You know, this is the moment where I have to say, on Bitcoin, at least locally, we need to break down and hit 110K. As explained, that's where I would say that this movement to the upside is a correction. The moment you take out 109.9K, 109.8, if we do not continue this momentum in the next coming days, yeah, if we take out this low, oh man, no matter how good this looks in an ABC flat, we have an impulsive move down. There's no doubt about it. You know, you cannot sugarcoat this move down as a correction. There's just no way you can do that. It is an impulse. It is aggressive. It is a 5-wave move down. What does a 5-wave move down have potential to do is continue to the downside later on in a wave 3. So, man, I'm going to start being a little bit worried if the price of Bitcoin does not continue the bullish market structure here in the next coming days and claims this higher low, which would completely break this as any type of multiple 1-2s or whatever you want. If you're looking for something bullish here, as soon as you get down here, it's, you know, there's not a good solid 5-wave move here from the lows of last Wednesday. I'm sorry, there's just not a solid 5-wave impulse here. So we need to continue grinding here. We need to continue with the grind to structure this 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 just to really see that this is impulsive. But if we roll down from here, yeah, there's no impulse. And if we take out this low at 109.8, I'm gonna be very, very skeptical about the bull market continuing, guys. Right? It's all opinions, it's all technical analysis, it's all, you know, opinions from people. If we roll down from here and take out this low, I'm going to be a little bit skeptical, okay? Of course, we are bullish still. We could be continue grinding, okay, and holding these levels out of support as explained on stream. Legends, thank you very much. We've got people leaving, okay? People are already bored. I'm already exhausted. Worst bull run for me, says Crypto Guy Buddy. Sin Games, much love to you, brother. Staffer one, let's get to 400 likes. Oh my goodness, that would be awesome if we can all smash up the like button right now. As we are over 400 people, we can get to 400 likes. Much appreciated. Sin Game says you can learn a lot during the bear market. I would start with a paper trade, of course, account on Tradingview. Very true. Okay, lots to learn if you don't have any experience. Thanks, Andy. Oreo, much love to you. Is buying altcoins at these prices worth it, Andy? Man, we got hit. Great stream. Much love to you, brother. Thank you very much. Yeah, this thing about buying altcoins now. I bought my altcoins. A lot of them are in the red. I'm just considering Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. Those are my main bags. I mainly want to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm just holding some Ethereum swing long positions that have to be managed depending on what the price does, of course, of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the leader. It's the king. Thank you very much, legends. And I will see you tomorrow.